A warm welcome to you anywhere around the world. This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Babaji Sunday, says additional tactical and conventional policing resources have been positioned at the University of Abuja main and satellite campuses, as well as the staff quarters and other affiliate formations of the university to fortify security following Tuesday morning's attack by gunmen on the staff quarters in Giri, Gwagwalada Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. Rosemary Motaling Bilal has an update.
The serene and academic environment of staff quarters of University of Abuja in Giri, few kilometers from Gwagwalada, was disrupted early Tuesday morning by uninvited visitors who shot sporadically, shattering window glasses and breaking doors in an attack that lasted about an hour, according to accounts by residents.
They were able to gain access into our house. They broke the window and came in.
Please, whatever you can do to be able to track them down, for my husband to come back alive and the others they kidnapped alongside with him.
The FCT Police Command moved in promptly to fortify security in and around the University of Abuja. Personnel of the Nigerian Army 176 Guard Battalion were also mobilized to area to protect the citizens.
Right from 12:45, we've been on ground. When we received the distress call of sporadic shooting in the university quarters here.
This is one of the most devastating, incidences, and it's very sad that this great university is being attacked this way.
We tried our best that night, but unfortunately, before their arrival, they were already away in the bush. I am sure something positive will come out from this investigation.
Security agents are calling for calm, assuring that the perpetrators would be arrested and brought to book. As at the time of our visit to the scene, the atmosphere is calmed, while residents at the staff quarters gather in groups discussing the overnight attack by marauders. Rosemary Molteleng Bilal, NTA News.
In a related developments, the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, Babaji Sunday, has reassured residents of the Federal Capital Territory of safety and protection of their lives and property. The Commissioner stated this after he dispatched additional tactical and conventional police resources to the University of Abuja. The CP, while calling for calm, further noted that the security forces are already working with the locals in the area towards rescuing the victims. He assured that the perpetrators would be arrested and brought to book. Search and rescue operations are ongoing to evacuate those still trapped in the collapsed building in Ikoyi as more bodies are being recovered from the rubble. Adeniyi Taiwo is at the scene to give us an update.
Hello, Ayodeji. Like you said, I'm still here live at the at Ikoyi, the scene of building collapse that happened yesterday. It's been over 24 hours, and the grim but necessary business of searching for and rescuing victims continues. As at the time that the Deputy Governor of Lagos State addressed journalists, the number he gave was that 9 people were rescued alive, while 10 unfortunately died. It's been hours after that, and I'm sure that the figure has risen. To update us, I have with me the head of NEMA in Lagos Territorial Office, Mr. Ibrahim Faniloye to give us an update on the search and rescue effort so far. Mr. Faniloye, like I said, earlier on the Deputy Governor addressed journalists and he gave us a certain number. Since then, what has happened so far?
Well, additional bodies have been recovered. We recovered additional 5, making 15 dead bodies. And we are still on the belief that more people will be rescued alive. We are still speaking with them. But in situations like this, we need to be very, very tactical, very slow to ensure those who are trapped are brought out alive, safe, without any injury. And, the piles of the floors are on each other with little space, only little space within them. So removing the rubble will take longer time for the safety reasons. So the operation is still ongoing.
Okay, are there still people alive, under the rubble?
Hopefully they are still alive. I spoke with you in the morning that we will still bring some people out, and we brought 2 out already. But the location where these ones are, very, very tight.
Okay, before I let you go, those who have families, under the rubble, we've seen, a measure of agitation from them, complaining about the pace of work. What is it about, the search and rescue that is that made it to be, this slow? And
it's not intentional to make the search and rescue to be slow. When you want to demolish, it's different from when you want to retrieve something live. Somebody who is already under a rubble, stressed, traumatized, by the time you are trying to remove the rubbles, either the columns or anything, if you are not careful, those columns can even cause more damage and lead to his death. So we need to retrieve the columns, break them into pieces, so that it won't affect whoever is inside. So that's why it's taking a little longer. And that is what is being done anywhere in the world.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Faniloye. Just before I commence this live report, the Inspector General of Police came in with his convoy. Like I said earlier on, this is an interagency rescue effort, and I'm sure he's here to also lend his own support and give his own counsel. But he's in there now, working with other agencies, working with other personnel, and I'm sure that by the time he comes out, he will be talking to journalists to give us, his own perception about the search and rescue efforts. Ayodeji.
Have you been able to notice any sign at all from authorities out there on the need to really clamp down on substandard products when it comes to buildings in Lagos State? We've seen them really talk about it in recent years.
Yeah, when the Deputy Governor was briefing journalists earlier, we took him up on the structure, because there have been stories about the number of story building that was approved, and he confirmed to us that the government actually approved 21-story building, but at a point around July, government had to step in and halt construction because of some structural anomaly that was noticed, and but he made us understand that the construction was altered and it has not resumed as at the time that this happened. That raised a lot of concern about the quality of work that was being done before this happened. And a little while ago, I saw a contingent from a standard organization of Nigeria, also coming in to come and see what's going on here. That is we also have a Lagos State agency that is in charge of building. They've also been here, and they've expressed concern about the quality of materials used and also the structure that was put in place, during the construction.
Adeni Taiwo would like to thank you, and also we wish those involved in the rescue operations the very best as they try to get more bodies out of the building. Thank you very much once again, Adeni Taiwo.
Thank you, Ayodeji.
Still on the collapsed building in Lagos State, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed his sympathy over the collapse, which led to loss of some lives. Gbajabiamila said it was unfortunate that the building collapse happened at a time the Lagos State government was doing everything possible to make lives of Lagosians safer. The Speaker sent his condolences to the families of the victims, noting that he shared in their grief and sympathized with the government and people of Lagos State over the unfortunate incident. He called for adequate measures to forestall future occurrence, while urging relevant authorities to double their efforts at rescuing those trapped in the multi-story building. It's time now to join Kehinde in our Lagos Network Center. Good evening, Kehinde. It's over to you.
Glad to have you join us in Lagos. Sustaining and improving the current levels of leadership and management training for naval personnel will further consolidate the successes recorded by the Nigerian Navy in tackling maritime insecurity. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Gambo said these are the closing ceremony of the 2021 Nigerian Navy Warrant Officers Convention in Lagos.
It's been 2 days of intense brainstorming for these defenders of the nation's maritime territorial integrity. The focus of discussions at the convention was improving the operational prowess of naval warrant officers who serve as link between officer cadres and naval ratings. The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, says the need to strive towards building a credible Navy calls for continuous enlightenment and reawakening of the tenets of professionalism among naval personnel at all levels. And this is what the convention focused on.
It is sincerely envisioned that this will lead to a more responsive leadership of non-commissioned officers cadre, which will bear positively on operational efficiency in the Nigerian Navy.
Some friends of the service were honored. 2016 marked the first edition of the convention. This rendition signals the closure of this year's event with hope from participants that their services would have witnessed a lot of improvement before the next convention. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And we're going back to Adeniyi Taiwo at the scene of the building collapse here in Lagos. Adeniyi Taiwo.
Hold such a building. So I think it is supervision that needed to be strengthened.
What about actions is there any plans against those who are behind this specific?
Naturally, if everybody is found to have compromised, yes, there should be some action on it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The most senior police presence here. Are we supposed to be expecting a criminal investigation? What is your intention of being here today?
Yeah, there is going to be an investigation, but the investigation will encompass professional touch. In any investigation where expert opinion is needed, the police will incorporate an expert. If you are investigating a case of homicide, you need to bring a doctor. If you are investigating a case of rape, you need to bring a professional who will tell you there is this, there is this. So in such investigation, there is also going to be involvement of professional competence.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Fatima. Hello. Hello.
The Inspector General of Police briefing the press after his supervising what the situation at the building collapse in Lagos. Moving on now, climate change negotiation has been on for many years, and somehow global warming seems to be giving agreements and targets reached at a back seat. With the fate of the planet at stake and communities around the world living in fear of climate change fury, will the Glasgow Climate Summit be the needed turning point that would tame it? Environment correspondent Jennifer Agwe examines some international efforts to tackle global warming and impact of the climate talks.
Melting glaciers, rising sea levels to extreme weather events that have left and are still leaving trails of devastation, experts say, are indications that the world needs to heed the warning of scientists to limit global temperature that triggers climate change to 1.5 degrees.
If we have technology that optimizes the use of fossil fuel, we're going to cut down on emission. And we, of course, will gradually shift to electric cars, for example.
That the transition to an hydrocarbon-free energy regime must not be done in a way that will hurt adversely the economy of Nigeria and in a way that will hurt the most vulnerable people, the people at the last rung of the ladder, who are already energy poor.
Another crucial area that world leaders and delegates will focus on is climate finance and adaptation, and this is not cheap. With pledges by developed nations still hanging over the years, will Glasgow deliver needed funds?
Just to extract methane from our waste dumps and use them as cooking gas. All of these things require resources, which are expected to come from the support that the developed nations are going to give.
Unfortunately, also the technologies that we require, the knowledge that developing and underdeveloped countries require, are also tied up to the ownership of multinational companies, research institutions in these same developed countries. And they are not also making this available.
COP26 is expected to be a turning point in the global efforts to tackle climate change. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a short break. The news continues shortly with IODG in Abuja.
Thanks for rejoining us. It is believed by the first quarter of 2022, Nigeria's National Forest Monitoring System will be available. This was the assurance given at the stakeholders' consultation engagement on the draft document in Abuja. Haman Jabani reports.
National Forest Monitoring is a comprehensive process that includes the systematic collection, analysis, and dissemination of forest-related data and the derivation of information and knowledge at regular intervals to allow the monitoring of changes over time. It focuses on national-level data and information of forests and trees outside forests, their condition, values, and uses. The convergence of these stakeholders is looked at the draft document to provide Nigeria a standard working procedures that will guide the implementation of Red Plus in the country. National Red Plus Program Coordinator believe that with this engagement, if all plans work out by the end of first quarter 2022, Nigeria's NFMS will be ready.
Once it's complete, we need to call, top policy makers to come and see what we have so that they will buy in and put it in their design processes of whatever they're delivering, be it in agriculture, mining, lands, even infrastructural development, because they must be reporting.
We have observed that Nigeria has a number of documents describing how to do data collection for that process, but these documents are not harmonized, they are not very clear, and even based on what was done in the forest reference level, some definitions were not clear.
National Forest Monitoring System is one of the required elements to be developed by countries planning to carry out Red Plus as agreed upon at the 16th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
One of the desires of President Muhammadu Buhari is to ensure that critical infrastructure and ecological challenges in Nigeria are addressed. The erosion control projects in Cross River State with intervention works ongoing at the project site are visible testimonies of the federal government while ensuring that the people of the area and their business environments are safe. Odwak Etam has details.
Risk of erosion and its impact on people as well as the environment, especially in Nigeria, necessitated the intervention of the federal government through the Ecological Project Office to address these challenges. Cross River State is not left out as the erosion control project at the Calabar Free Trade Zone is yielding results based on the ongoing intervention work at the site to ensure that the entire business environment is safe for investors to thrive.
We have seen that over 40–50% of our youth are already here working, and it therefore means that has also solved the problem of insecurity in our town. We thank God for these projects.
The project, which is not below the acceptable standard according to the contractor, is progressing at between 25 to 28% with concrete works and soil conservations. Director Pollution Control Ecological Project Office Clinton Igwe and his team are calling on the host communities and the contractors to work harmoniously for the speedy execution of the project.
We've seen a lot of preparatory work on. In fact, they've already delved into the main job itself. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the job so far.
So far, we have done mobilization. We have mobilized equipment. We have mobilized materials. At the same time, we have gone further, looking at the weather constraint to start a critical part of the project, which is the retaining walls.
The erosion control project is expected to be completed in 2022. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTN News.
The slow pace with which the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is progressing is not in tandem with the aspiration of government for the scheme. At the inauguration of a joint working committee to fast-track its implementation, the secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, challenged the members to inject the needed momentum into the scheme. Kelvin Ebonwaye reports.
6 years since the enactment of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, a major component of the national health policy, not much has been achieved. Major stakeholders like the state governments are still foot-dragging, thereby hampering the objective of the fund, which is meant to bring relief to Nigerians, especially rural dwellers, by reducing the cost of healthcare and improve overall quality of life. Represented at the inauguration of the Joint Working Committee, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation described the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund as a priority policy agenda of the federal government and tasked the committee members to recover the lost grounds.
I have no doubt in my mind that with the experience around the table on this subject matter, the Joint Working Committee shall deliver a report that will help in eliminating the bottlenecks as regards the implementation of the fund.
The expression of the seamless operationalization of the fund is in tandem with the commitment of the President Muhammad Buhari's government to provide quality basic health care service to the majority of Nigerians.
A stakeholders' retreat to be coordinated by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms is expected to review the implementation strategies and advise government. In Abuja, Kelvin Ebonwaye, NTA News.
The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, says the federal government is working to commission the Zungeru power plant before the end of the first quarter of 2022. He made this known when he defended the ministry's 75.4 billion naira 2022 budget at the Senate. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports.
The Minister of Power appeared before the Senate Committee on Power to explain implementation of the 2021 budget and to provide justification for the ministry's 2022 budget proposal. The status of the various ongoing power projects in the country, especially the Zungeru power plant, keeps resonating at each executive legislative engagement. This time, the parliamentary committee insisted on timeline.
We are seeing 2 months or 3 in the horizon after December.
The ministry has initiated a national program that will provide alternative power supply for strategic federal government buildings and military formations through renewable energy in 2022.
The status of the situation is, with the government-to-government agreement that was done with Siemens to improve transmission in Nigeria. As far as the Siemens initiative is concerned, it is ongoing. As I'm talking to you now, I have to suspend a meeting today because of this engagement.
Nigerians were anxious and happy that a deal was signed that could enhance the delivery capacity of electricity.
At the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs was the management of the Federal Character Commission, which defended the Commission's 2022 budget of 3.8 billion naira.
One new state office shall be constructed at Oyo State. The sum of 150 million naira only for this project.
The Commission is also proposing 50 million naira for the renovation of its 2 offices in Kwara and Akwa Ibom states. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
We now go over to our Kaduna Network Center, and Suleiman will be our guide. Over to you, Suleiman. Good evening.
Thank you, Ayodeji, and good evening. Peace, security, and employment generation through the involvement of traditional institutions in exploring agricultural-based opportunities are the enabling factors that could help in addressing security challenges facing the country. This was the submission of course 30 participants of the National Defense College on a study tour in Jigawa State. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
National Defense College is the topmost training institution for the Nigeria Armed Forces, with participants attending from countries in the West African sub-region and beyond. Study tours to states across Nigeria is a routine practice of the NDC participants, focusing on areas of national importance to find a lasting solution to the Nigerian security challenges and forge development for the nation. The commandant of the National Defense College, Oladele Daji, commended Jigawa government's strides in the areas of road infrastructure, agriculture, youth and women empowerment, and the peace initiative that bring farmers and herders to live in harmony in the state.
Jigawa State has been rated first in Budget Transparency and Accountability Index in 2020. Of the prudence management of the state's resources has been able to accomplish much with little resources at the disposal of the state government.
Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar told the participants that Jigawa runs an open and inclusive government where all segments of the state contribute to the efforts of the government to build secured, peaceful and prosperous states where all citizens will be proud of.
In everything we do, we look at the community vis-a-vis value for money. And that is why the name of calculator comes in.
The team was also at the palace of Emir of Dutse, where they had fruitful discussions with the Emir, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sunusi, on the matters of security and agricultural development. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Educationists in the country are pushing for total overhaul of the education system at all levels to reflect the exigencies of the time. Their position is coming on the heels of challenges in the nation's education sector. Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that critical stakeholders in the sector met in Kano under the auspices of Faculty of Education, Bayero University, Kano, to push for a way forward.
Records by the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, reveals that there are more than 13 million out-of-school children in Nigeria. These experts say is a contributory factor to daunting security challenges bedeviling the nation. Changing the narrative is among the rationale behind the Education National Annual Conference by the Faculty of Education, Bayero University, Kano. Yasir Badamasi, a student with Kano University of Science and Technology, WIDL, is in Bayero University to attend the conference. Being a youth, he is advocating for engaging people like him in one skill or the other.
To engage the youths, then you are making them productive. And that productive culture is going to nurture them, bring them together, compose them into law-abiding citizens of the nation.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje says access to education must be given more than casual attention, hence the need for stakeholders' collaboration. What should be considered, according to experts, is good security architecture, stable curriculum, good infrastructure, adequate funding, and proper parenting. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
More reports ahead after this break with Ayodeji in Abuja.
You're welcome back. With 4 days to the 2021 Anambra governorship election, people of the state are gearing up to cast their ballots. The choice before them are 18 candidates from 18 political parties. Discussing the Anambra governorship election on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, guests focused on expectations of the people and other intrigues around the election. Ekemini Williams has the details.
The state governorship polls has been described as a litmus test to the 2023 general elections. But with 4 days to the election, the dynamics on ground has made the outcome unpredictable. Security of the electorate has, however, dominated discussions on the poll.
IPOF, before even the election, they have institutionalized sit at home every weekend. Every Monday. And with the deployment of the army, police, and all sorts of, security, people, probably scaring the voters.
Dr. Obiora Okonkwo, one of the governorship candidates in the Anambra State election, who joined the program via Zoom, promised to address the insecurity within 1 week of assumption of office, if elected.
Anambra is in economic comatose, and we're going to bring in a shock therapy. And this shock therapy is coming from direct foreign investment.
The election on Saturday will not mean the end of insecurity in Anambra State, because it is already entrenched, and it will take very serious thinking, it will take very serious efforts on the part of both people within and outside Anambra State to begin to, fashion out solutions.
The guests expressed fears of possible voter apathy, which may result from the violence experienced in the state in recent times. They are, however, hopeful that government will inspire confidence with the present security architecture. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
In another development, the Action Democratic Party has flagged off campaign for the governorship candidate of the party, Afam Douglas Ume-Ezeoke, ahead of Saturday's Anambra State governorship election. Timothy Yusuf reports that the party's national chairman, Yabaji Sani, says just few days to the election, the ADP is putting its best foot forward and will make the final days to the election count in the party's favor.
The national chairman of the ADP, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, explained that the party's governorship candidate to the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State, Afam Umezeoke's visit to the National Secretariat was to unveil his candidature to the public, a formality he best regarded as the consolidation of the party's campaign and mobilization in the historic contest.
To whom much is given, much is expected. As you are poised to take over the mantle of leadership, you should be mindful of your electoral promises to the people that have given you their confidence.
With the party's adoption of a door-to-door campaign strategy since commencement of campaign, the ADP governorship candidate Afam Ume-Ezeoke assured that the people of Anambra State will witness a more vibrant development of all sectors of the economy if he emerges victorious at the poll.
This journey will end in Aguaka. We know where we are going, and we know who is going with us, who is God Almighty is before us.
While expressing confidence in INEC's ability to conduct a transparent election, the ADP appealed to citizens to put Nigeria first in their actions. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has granted the request by the People's Democratic Party for an extension of time to enable it file processes necessary to be joined as a respondent in a suit filed by the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Mahadi Aliyu Gusau, challenging attempts by the State House of Assembly to impeach him. Olabode Arewa reports.
The court had earlier granted an order restraining the defendants from proceeding with the impeachment process pending the determination of the substantive suit. When the case came up for hearing Tuesday, the defendants made submissions on compliance with the earlier court order. The Zamfara State House of Assembly had initiated the impeachment proceedings against Mahadi Aliyu, the deputy governor, for his alleged actions following Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale's defection to the All Progressives Congress.
What we want is I want to bring every party, every participant in the political space in Zamfara to court so that this issue can be decided once and for all.
More importantly, under Section 308 of the Constitution, there is complete and total immunity from a governor, a sitting deputy governor, being joined in any civil or criminal proceedings And then that is the law.
The matter is adjourned to January 18th, 2022. In Abuja, Labodarewa. NTA News.
Let's pause for a bit now and cross over to our Ibadan Network Center, where Kemi is waiting to give us the next set of reports on Nationwide. It's over to you, Kemi.
Thank you very much, Ayodeji, and welcome to Ibadan. Pensioners who were not captured in 2019 are now to heave a sigh of relief as Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, embarked on mop-up verification exercise for them. Correspondent Ayomiku Ajibola reports that the exercise held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
The aim of the verification exercise is to ascertain the eligible pensioners under the defined benefit scheme, enroll eligible pensioners who were not on the directorate payroll, while promptly removing the unqualified. According to the Executive Secretary, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, they decided to embark on the mop-up verification in all zones across the country after receiving complaints from pensioners who were not captured in the verification carried out in 2019 for pensioners in agencies and parastatals, adding that mobile verification will also be conducted for sick and infirm pensioners.
We're asking all of them to avail themselves of this opportunity to come and get verified. Because without that verification, we won't have you on our database.
Moses Olontade, who retired from 9 posts in 2006, and Fumilayo Adeyemi, who retired in 2007 from Anglican Commercial Grammar School, Oshobo, expressed profound gratitude to PTAD for giving them the second chance to be verified and captured in their database.
They are attending to us in a very nice way. We are comfortable.
The establishment of Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, by the federal government in 2013 is necessitated by the need to reform the old pension office under the defined benefit scheme. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Building a healthy and informed nation starts with the girl child. Hence, the need for parents and guardians to adequately equip the girl child with strong and virile education, especially information technology. This was the focus of stakeholders at the commemoration of Girl Child Day, organized by the wife of Oyo State Governor. Omokinde Igbari's report is here presented.
Girls were selected from all the senatorial districts of Oyo State to acquaint them on ways at which they can be self-reliant and make use of the social media to better their lives in a digital world.
They need to know that they can actually develop apps and, support their community through the apps and educating their community through the apps.
If knowledge creates problem, experts say ignorance can't solve it. Hence, the students were educated on how they can be well developed with ICT.
It's telling them that they should not limit themselves to anywhere. No matter where they find themselves, they should always put a bit of technology in everything we do.
Some of the students bared their minds on the program.
Trying to use my smartphone well to maybe to go on research of technologies and anything I don't understand in school.
I've already shared a lot of experience.
Olufunke Makinde, as a role model, the way she's interacting with every other people, I really believe that we can still be like her and do better than her in the nearest future.
The wife of the governor, Samuno Menene Makinde, charged all mothers not to relent on efforts to make sure women are brought into the e-mainstream to tackle the peculiar challenges confronting women.
And that's it from Ibadan. Is back to Ayodeji in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Kemi, in our Ibadan Network Center there. Back here in Abuja, do you know that clicking on that link may be all that is required to hack into your device or system and may lead to loss of huge capital and collapse of the system? This informed the Office of the National Security Advisor to organize a sensitization forum on cybersecurity for telecommunications sector. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Cyberspace, the fifth and fastest growing domain and fundamental aspect of human life, promotes communications and ease socioeconomic activities globally.
Thus, the increasing dependence on the cyberspace comes with the risk that threatens national security, cyberspace operations, as well as the negative impacts on critical infrastructure of nation-state whose operations are reliant on the cyberspace.
In Nigeria, for instance, there are more than 140 million internet subscriptions and 73.5% internet penetration. This, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy says, is a paradox.
Each and every one of these subscribers is a target of our cyber criminals. This is a clear indication that Nigeria has gone digital. Then we must all get ready to make sure that we protect ourselves. And this sensitization workshop and awareness campaign are key to our own effort of ensuring that we are well protected. On this premise,
this multi-stakeholder sensitization on the implementation of the Cyber Security Policy 2021 for the telecom sector is aimed at further developing the capacity to counter emerging threats through collaborative efforts. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A 3-day capacity building is underway in Abuja to tackle money laundering and funding of terrorism. Kenneth Nanim reports that it is at the instance of the Ministry of Interior in collaboration with the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Units.
To protect and promote Nigeria's financial integrity, the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of 2011, as amended, expanded the scope for investigation, arrest, and prosecution of offenders. Despite this, violation of the Act still on the increase. Similar to this, Ministry of Interior is therefore building capacity of the frontline personnel to equip them with technological-driven options in cracking syndicates and other perpetrators of cross-border crime.
One of the things we want to achieve is for officers to be aware that beyond just law enforcement, beyond just arrest and detention, they have a responsibility to trace the proceeds of crime and ensure that criminals are deprived of the proceeds of their criminality.
To achieve the desired result, the emphasis, however, was on interagency collaboration on data analysis, intelligence sharing, and individual profiling in line with international best practices.
The country had 4 violent problems, from the Igbo group to IPOP to Boko Haram to the kidnapping and so on and so forth. But with the work we did today, it's only the kidnapping and the banditry that is very active. And the terminal date for them in our record is March, April 2022.
Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola challenged the agencies to increase surveillance on transhuman trade as a way of checking the menace. Communique from the workshop will be presented to relevant authorities for implementation. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says there is a need to change public perception of the legislature as it is strategic to the survival of Nigeria's democracy. It was while declaring open a 2-day workshop for the House of Representatives Committee on Media and Public Affairs in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The 40-member House Committee on Media and Public Affairs serves as an intermediary between the House and the public. It shapes perspectives in relation to constitutional rule and other activities of the House. Femi Gbajabiamila says a lack of knowledge in the public space on the institution has led to misunderstandings. He urged the committee to change the narrative, which is why this capacity-building workshop was organized.
When a small committee or an institution as the National Assembly is misunderstood or misjudged, it has the possibility of the potential of snowballing or having even a larger and more dangerous effect on our democracy.
Our organization has also a very long tradition in Nigeria to provide capacity building seminars to the media, especially to the press, believing that press freedom and the freedom of expression is one of the most important values of any democracy.
Chairman of the committee, Benjamin Kalu, says engagement with traditional and new media enables the committee to adequately address issues of interest.
To promote the image of the House, curb press speculations on House activities, and effectively manage House publicity.
Issues to be considered in this capacity building workshop include strategies for engaging the media in legislative work beyond plenary to cover important aspects of committee work, which is where the bulk of time and resources of the Assembly are invested.
Latest communication and public relations strategy are the main features at the workshop. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Benue State's Governor Samuel Otom has expressed confidence in Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPADEC, of delivering on its mandate. The governor stated this during a stakeholders meeting on dissemination of assessment reports on 7 local government areas of Benue State. Charles Abba reports.
The opening remarks of Governor Samuel Otom to the forum blazes the torch for deliberation.
We appreciate the federal government for inaugurating the board, and we believe that this board and management will add value to those challenges that we have here in Benue State, especially the ecological problems.
Managing Director of Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPADEC, Abubakar Sadiq said the report assessment covers flooding, erosion, insecurity, and other disasters in 7 local government areas of Benue State, affecting 34 wards, where an average of 200 persons are affected.
We will never undermine our responsibility in the case of ensuring that the needs and aspirations of the Benue people are addressed to the extent as allowed by the HYPADEC Act.
And I can give you assurances that HYPADEC will, in the nearest possible time, bring a lot of projects to the state.
In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The National Disabilities Commission is working with critical stakeholders to ensure seamless preparation ahead of the 2021 National Disabilities Summit. Stakeholders say the summit will open up a new vista to aggregate issues surrounding the welfare and living standards of physically challenged persons.
People, those conducting the summit, are people that are knowledgeable in terms of disability community. They know what the disability community is interested. They know what they are up to. We have a plan, and they will, I'm very, very sure they will come up with simple method, simple analysis for us to execute our plan accordingly for the success of the disabled community.
At the end of the summit, we want to correct that impression that it is also possible to put our best foot forward, best voices forward, and best vision forward, because as persons with disabilities, we have all this in us.
We want to see that all of these people come on that table, in that room, the very day at the National Disability Summit. We happen to be the face of its kind in Nigeria. We want to bring all of us together in that day so that we can be able to make the necessary commitment to disability issues.
The summit is also to enhance the participation of persons living with disabilities in governance and other professional endeavors necessary to self and national development. And Sports Update is next with Gift George.
All is now set for the 2021 Lagos Women Run.